Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thanks a lot for tuning in. It is the last day of the week. I hope you are ready to enjoy the weekend. But before that, let's take a look at the Bitcoin price evolution. So since the low we made, I think it was October 10th. Yes. Price has moved in a motive fashion. So an impulse wave with the wave 1, wave 2. I was already saying back then, small red flag here because this wave 2, if it is indeed a wave 2, did not retrace very far. Actually, it had the retracement behavior of a wave 4, but it could not have been a wave 4 due to its position with regards to the previous trend. Nonetheless, we continued with the counts, and I was skeptical of calling this the top of a wave 3 of the same degree, so in circle. Yeah, so this one here. You could have placed it here, but this was a very short third wave, and you could already count within that third wave some waves of a lower degree. So there was an indication that maybe the third wave is actually going to expand much higher, and you could place waves of a lower degree within it. And then we had this move with what appeared to be a short squeeze and then a sell-off as we approach the resistance. This move here is labeled as an expanding triangle. So theoretically, expanding triangles are ideally found in motive waves on position 4. Yeah, so for the corrective. So if that's a fourth of a lower degree compared to this the motive wave in circle, then this one could be a third, ideally. And look at this move here now. So we are on the 1 hour chart. What we had from the bottom of the wave 4 of a lower degree is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that could be an unending diagonal. You have 3 waves for each segment. The last one is not visible. The 3 waves are not visible. However, you have a run up. There is a possibility that this run up here is just a throw over short extension for the 5th of 3 in circle. So I'm going with the assumption that the third wave in circle that started on the 10th of October has stopped here at 68,415 or 428, something like that. It is short of the more often than not ideal target for a third wave, which was 69,867. Yeah, so it's a bit short of it. This is the assumption I make. I might be wrong, but I will go with this assumption. And then follows the third wave. We want a 3-way corrective down for a 4th wave. So appears that 4th wave is completed. And if you've watched the previous video, when I was already considering that the third wave would extend, I said that it would not be surprising to find the 4th wave find a bottom along this ascending line, because price is moving within a channel and we have the lower boundaries. The boundary of this channel has been respected twice and has propelled the price higher toward the mid. The lower boundary touch another time for a 4th wave could also indicate that the count is aligned with price action and that the lower boundary would actually hold the price. Now, with regards to wave counts, we are still looking for a 5th wave. Now, generally, if the count is correct and that the third wave did indeed expand, then the 5th is likely to be truncated. Likely. Yeah, it's not a guarantee. So meaning that we would not go higher than the top of third wave. There was an attempt as I was talking, but I wouldn't be surprised that the 5th is truncated and that we go down for a correction. Yeah, but it doesn't have to happen this way. It's just an observation. If the 5th also runs up, because you have from the bottom of the 4th, you have a 1, what appears to be, let me see, 1, 2. So either subwave count 2 ends here or here, because you have an A, B, and a C. So if it ends here, wave 2 of subwave of higher degree wave 5, then you have third, fourth, fifth. Yeah, so it's a possibility. Nonetheless, we know that this impulsive move up will be followed once it tops by a corrective move down in 3 waves. Okay. One way to identify a potential reversal is a break of market structure. Yeah, or that's the first way. There are two I'm going to talk about. Market structure is higher high, higher lows. Yeah. But now that we made the most recent high is the assumed top of wave 3 at, what was I saying, 68, 400 something. Yeah, we might have different charts and different tops. Therefore, I'm never precise in the numbers I give because not everybody is looking at the same chart from the same exchange. Yeah. But the overall idea is the same. The most recent high is this one. Yeah. If price, as it is now, fails to make a new high, then the market structure will be to look for a low before the new high or before the most recent high. Yeah. And that low is here. Yeah. So a reasonable yet not aggressive way to consider market structure change is if price comes and break below 64,806, which is the low of wave 4 in bracket here. Yeah, that a low that was formed on the 15th of October. You could say that market structure is broken, the higher high and higher low pattern is broken when price breaks this one. Yeah, you could say that. It's kind of an early on way to look at it, because simply here you don't have a higher high compared to the most recent high. Yeah. Now, if price makes a new high compared to the top of wave 3 in circle, then you can shift this one here and say, this is my market structure breaking point. Price breaks down, I can start to consider this move up to have topped. It doesn't mean that it's going to reverse down immediately. You can have a sideways price action for a bit. That could be a form of a beginning of a wave 2 correction. Yeah. So a change of market structure does not imply going in the other direction right away. You can stall for a bit. So breaking market structure is the first sign. Yeah. But so far, market structure break is somewhere down there, the low of wave 4. Now, this channel is quite helpful. It's visually helpful, and it also could be an indication that market structure is about to change if price break this blue ascending line, because it has been touched once, twice, a third, a fourth, apparently a fifth. If that breaks, if price breaks the blue line and close below the blue line, then you can consider that this is another warning sign that the market structure is probably about to shift. Yeah. So two signs, a breakdown here, a break of the ascending line. We are essentially looking for a wave 5 to form. Yeah. I would say it does not really matter much at this point in time to have a correct count as to where wave 3 is placed, because you can visually assess that we are closer to the end of a motive wave to be completed rather than the beginning. Yeah. If we are at the beginning of a motive wave, that is also true, but it is a motive wave of a much higher degree. And we would form, once this one has stopped, wherever it does, it will be a wave 1 completed of a higher degree than the fifth in circle. Yeah. So with this move, we are closer to the end of this move, wherever it ends. And then we would look for signs of market structure shift. Now, if I remove the micro count for the moment and I open up the technical view to see where price is, it's not very surprising that the price is not doing much, because it's underneath, or actually has penetrated, a resistance or supply area that was formed at the end of July. There was one attempt to get through it. It was followed by a nice sell-off. Yeah, there was a second attempt, but there was no nice sell-off. There was an orderly fashion pullback. Yeah, so price went higher in the resistance, yet the sell-off was not as aggressive. So does it mean that here the bears, the aggressive sellers, are not there? I don't know, but this very shallow pullback may indicate that we might make another run inside the resistance and actually go higher. And that's probably what might happen within the assumption made that we are looking for a top of a wave 5 to complete this motive wave up. Now, like I was saying in previous videos, I don't think that we will get through and stay above this resistance. We might have a run up as a short squeeze, because I'm assuming that here I have a lot of short, aggressive short people who are willing to take the risk, because the risk is actually quite low. The risk to reward is interesting at this area. But you do have also this descending trend line. If I go to the 4 hour, this descending trend line that is capping the price since mid-March. Yeah, I've been repeating that for a while, but price action is not allowing me to say anything different. So I go with that. So it is not excluded that we make a run through this resistance as a short squeeze. However, I would be surprised if we stay above. We would need some serious catalyst to actually go much higher. Yeah. If you look at the macro view, these two counts are still valid, the red and the yellow. So quick recap, the red one is a leading diagonal that forms like this. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With every leading diagonal, you actually, once it's completed, we have no indication that it is at the moment, but we might be close to completion. Once it is completed, the leading diagonal forms a wave 1, and then you look for a wave 2 down. Yeah, this is bullish. Yeah, it's just that it's not as aggressive as the other count I have, which is the yellow one. The yellow one is the ideal bullish count, because you have a wave 1, a 2, and within the thirds, you start subwave counting as wave 1, wave 2, and now we're in the making of wave 3, which I will keep that minimum target conservative, the 1, 2, 3, 6, 74, 605. Theoretically, you look for a wave 3 that goes to the 1618 at 83, 135, but I find it, given the overlapping and lack of enthusiasm type of structure we had since early, what was that, August, I think aiming for 74, 600 is reasonable enough, especially given this resistance overhead and this trend line, descending trend line that we have that could cap the price down. Yeah. Should price top here, you would therefore look for a correction of this move up as an ABC, yeah, to form, that would be a 1, that would be a 2. And now the question will be afterwards, do we go for another 5 up? Or is this 5 up actually a 3-way move correction, because this is an A, B, C that will take price lower if that is the red count playing as the leading diagonal. So that's something to keep in mind. But really now what is, even if I remove the count, I leave the technicals and I look at the RSI and the volume. So price is beneath resistance and is also beneath a trend line. We've had overbought for the RSI. Now that doesn't mean much as such, because price can wiggle within and out of oversold and stay oversold for a long time. Now it is interesting to see that the RSI made two lows, one bigger than the previous one, whereas the price did not. So that is probably an indication to be confirmed that there is still some room for higher prices up. Should price start to revert down, there are two areas I will be watching because they represent demand areas. So one is 62,456 and the other one is 63,222.33. It's a difficult morning. And the second one is really beneath that level, and it's 60,000 to 6,650. Yeah, so those are the two areas which could attract prices. This one in the first place, and could probably result in a pause at least, and if not, a pullback in the other direction. Yeah, for a correction. There isn't much to say, and I think at this point in time, if I go back to the micro counts, there is no incentive as to trying to nail down the counts because the price action is not letting you do so quite easily. You have to make few assumptions, and really this is not what is important at the moment. What is important is to identify what we do within the resistance. So if I put back the technicals, and you can see that price is now within the resistance, but we did not make a new high, and therefore we did not trigger any aggressive selling action because this price was already visited back then. So there is no expectation here for price movement. It's only going to be once we make a new high. If price do, then we might see some reaction from the sellers. If I look at the future market now to see what the open interest and the delta is doing, well, it's the same picture pretty much. And there is no clear, we have a short run up for the price, but at the same time, we have a shallow run up for the open interest. So the observation is quite aligned with the price action, meaning that indicates that new long positions are being opened as we enter the resistance. Now, is it always a safe and wise move to open new long position while you are going into the resistance? Probably not. I would like to see a short squeeze here. We might get it, we might not, but I would like to see a short squeeze, and only once the short squeeze has happened, the observation on the open interest will tell us what will be the most likely scenario. Yeah, but for the moment, there is not much happening. Even on the delta, we had a run up with the price for a third pierce into the resistance, into a level that was already visited back then, but yet it's a third attempt. It resulted in a nice positive delta compared to the previous one we had. I don't know what was the number on that. Yeah, 8,500 and some change. But it's not sufficient. Yeah, so something like that would be a good indication that the short squeeze is probably underway. Yeah, there is really not much to say about open interests. I mean, I could talk a bit more about it, but I would just keep on making assumption, and this is not helpful. So yeah, it's a pretty long video for a shallow price action, but I think it's we are at a crossroad. Yeah, either we pierce through with some catalyst and we say goodbye to this range we've been in for 7 months, or we make an attempt, we pierce through, but we fail, and then we will validate the alternative of the red count, which is the diagonal, and then we would look for price to pull back a bit lower for a wave 2 to form. Okay, so that's it for the video. Hope you liked it. Leave me a comment to let me know what you appreciate in the video, what you would like to see in the future video. Leave a like. Much appreciated. Subscribe to the channel, and you take care of yourself. You have a good day. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.